And we are back.
Revenge.
All right. So when we left off, Bakul had finished his turn, failing to hit the nearest bandit with his longbow. And it is now Geth's turn.
Okay, let's see. I see two guys nice and bunched up right here.
Indeed, you do.
So to make it simple, let's just drop acid on their faces too. Acid for everyone.
All right.
What was the weather forecast for today again?
Acid rain.
100% chance of acid.
Yes, Cat, I see you. Parrot Cat's returned for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So, let me see here. All right. You are standing at the corner of the building, just enough to see the two bandits in front of Vikram, and you have perfect line of sight of exactly where you want to place this globule of acid. You cast it forth. It actually goes between the bandits and splashes behind them and washes over their backs. And the bandit closest to the house, who had stayed at the rear to try to recover, just all of a sudden, you see him kind of lift up on his toes. He just screams in pain as his chest barrels out, his spear and shield coming to the sides, as he just barrels forward, falls forward to his knees before crumpling back to his back, dead.
Yeah.
The second bandit that's directly in front of Vikram also gets splashed from the rear. Having dropped his shield to try to strike at Vikram, the acid washes over and actually comes up over and starts dripping down the front of him as well. He falls to his knees, screaming in pain, dropping to a hand, completely dropping his spear. He's on his hands and knees, just screaming as the acid is eating away at his back, barely hanging on. He's on his hands and knees before Vikram.
He barely survived. Good.
And that brings us to Vikram.
So I'm going to do the only sensible thing and try to decapitate him.
Okay. You roll with an advantage to hit.
Sweet. Let's see.
I thought you were going to give him an acid bath.
Oh, you don't have it set up to automatically roll advantage?
Yeah, I forgot I didn't turn it on before I rolled, so I just
Oh,
rolled
that's
again.
fine. Oh, that works. Okay, so with advantage, you're able to bring your katana up. You bring it down almost like a samurai of modern days would do. Just a perfect slice with the katana. And you end the misery of the bandit, cleanly separating his head from his shoulders. As his head tumbles to the ground at your feet, his body crumples, still on his knees, butt in the air, and decapitated shoulders on the ground, almost as if he had kneeled to you, offering his head as sacrifice.
Please forgive me.
And then this guy right here, can I then turn with my sword pointed at him and just intimidate him just by turning over, pointing at him with the sword, showing that he's next?
So you need to do what? Oh, you're just intimidating the other?
I'm just gonna...
You can roll intimidation, that's fine.
Okay.
Back with the terrible intimidation again.
He looks at you and he kind of like motions to his chest like, you talking to me? And that's about all the reaction you get.
Has this guy been hit yet, or is this guy the guy who hasn't been scratched?
All of them. Well, the guy right next to you is the one that hasn't been hit,
Fun!
and it is your turn.
I know.
So
I'm gonna
hey,
look at this.
Tig, Mark. No, sorry, Tig. Kurt just texted me and said that he
He
can't really
says
hear
I need.
anything.
He
the
says I
stream?
need to raise the master volume on the stream,
Yeah,
but there's not a lot I can do about that.
gotcha. Okay,
It's more
Could
of
you
an
raise,
issue with him being able to turn up the volume.
it's that. Okay.
Could you raise your actual volume mixers volumes, and maybe that could do something?
I have my microphone maxed out, and the desktop audio is only set to where it's not going to way overpower my mic.
Gotcha.
Mm.
Anyway,
Okay.
thanks to this little fucking shitbag giving me a nice new scar on my back, I'm gonna look at him and say, I'm glad you didn't run. You're gonna learn what happened to the last little fucker that got a hit on me. And I'm gonna swing my two swords and aim
Wow.
square at his goddamn nuts.
Now, was that an
I'm gonna chop his
intimidation?
balls off. Huh?
Was that an intimidation?
No. I was just telling him this.
Yeah, you talk. That's an intimidation. But okay.
No.
If you don't want to roll, don't roll. Just asking.
Well, Tig, do I need to roll for intimidation if I'm
No.
legitimately
You're
just
if
telling
you're
him?
going to intimidate, it's going to be at the end of what you're doing, not at the start.
Okay. I was just making sure. Don't you dare, cat. And again, I was attacking with both of my swords, so... Well, that one's fucked up. That one fucked up. Wow.
Okay.
Apparently,
This-
it's horribly.
This guard had just had his eyes drawn a little bit to the left as he was motioned at from Vikram like he was being somehow threatened or something. But when it drew his eyes to the left, it actually brought his right arm with the shield more in front of him between you and he, so that his shield, just out of chance, Vikram is responsible for messing up your attacks with your swords and allowed for this bandit to deflect your blows with his shield.
Okay.
Best thing that's happened tonight.
And now, since I've finished that... Good! I'm going to actually intimidate him.
Okay, you're at a disadvantage.
Don't care.
Because he's too busy laughing at you.
Really? Disadvantage, huh?
All right, so let me just do this real quick.
If only was an advantage. That
All right, so he turned looking at Vikram. Your short swords solidly hit his shield. He feels it, and it almost pushes him back a step. What are you going to try to say to him to intimidate him?
I'm going to tell him, don't run, because now I'm going to enjoy skull fucking you with these two nice, pretty swords. You damaged me. The last guy who did that can't say much about it now.
He, after having looked at Vikram, again, it was kind of coincidence that he was able to shield from your attack in the first place. So your attack mixed with your words actually shocks him. He kind of opens his eyes real wide and looks back at you, and you just see a slight quiver in his upper lip. And
Okay.
let's see, this one, dead,
I've been more successful than
This
anyone else so far.
dead,
I'm
Not-
not intimidated.
Well,
That's
yeah,
all.
actually.
dead.
A murder? Yeah, we've been more successful than you have to.
Yes, in the murder, but I've been able to intimidate the shit out of someone, apparently.
You make the threats, I keep the promise.
All right, so
I would beheaded someone because they fucking hurt me.
the bandit beside Bakul is going to attempt to attack Bakul, seeing as he just tried to shoot him. So
Point blank range with an arrow, that makes...
Point
you
blank
would
range
hit it,
from
man.
long
That'd have
bow.
been no scope.
and
He has a
disadvantage.
16 armor rating.
Well, he's
I
at a
think so.
disadvantage. He has a 14, but the guy's attacking at a disadvantage because of his injuries. So
I thought Buckle had a 16.
no, he's got a 14.
Is it Vikram's almost 16, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, I've got 16.
Gotcha.
All right, so Bakul's longbow attack was barely deflected by this bandit's spear, and the deflection with the spear of the longbow, the longbow and the spear kind of matched up against each other, almost like you would see two swords pressed at in combat against each other. And so the spear, he's trying to get at Vikram, or at Bakul, and Bakul's trying to deflect the spear, and it's a tussle. And so their weapons are still joined together in intense combat. But Bakul's able to avoid taking additional damage. Now, the bandit beside Morthos kind of, let's see here. I need to do this. He gathers himself somewhat. You can tell that he's looking around, seeing his fallen friends, and he looks back towards the two houses to the north where they came from before attempting to go ahead and attack you. So he's attacking at a disadvantage against your intimidation. So he's at 5.
Handy.
I'm guessing that doesn't hit your AC.
Nope. I'm at 12.
Okay, so he kind of just half-heartedly tries to stab you with his spear while he's also thinking about trying to run away. Go ahead and you get opportunity here. Go ahead and roll a d20 with advantage. So I need 2 d20s. And that's for Morthos.
Sure.
Okay, so you got the 14 there. All right, so you're actually able to. He after trying to stab you and failing miserably, he turns and attempts to disengage, turning his back to you as he tries to head back north. You're able to attack. So I need you to roll an attack with your short swords or take an action. You're able to take an action.
I'm able to attack with both of them.
You're able to take an action. So whatever you can do with an action. So.
Hi.
Okay. Your first attack falls short, but your second will connect. So go ahead and roll damage with the second. So as he turns and disengages from you, you're able to catch him in the back with your left hand and the short sword in your left hand. You slash your short sword down his back, and it causes him to stumble away. He's only able to make it away. As he turns to try to disengage, stumbling, you slash down his back, and he stumbles forward about 15 feet. And that's about all the further he could make it in this amount of time. All right, Drux.
Everyone, he's mine.
Maybe not. I'm going to charge him down and smack him in the back of the kneecaps.
With your axe, one-handed or two-handed?
One-handed. I am going to say, because I think you can do this, remember correctly, I don't want it to be a leaf blow. I want to knock him clean out.
You want to try to knock him out?
I want to keep him alive.
Okay. Roll to hit.
Your plan, I'm doing it.
That was the idea.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I only got a 13, I'm assuming, so I assume that's advantage from the back.
It is advantage. Unfortunately, he's stumbling away, and you're not... I mean, he's still a human versus a dwarf.
Yep.
So you come in, and you're trying to catch him in such a way to keep your axe blow from being lethal, and you're just not able to time the hit enough, well enough to connect in a satisfactory way.
I just run after and just yelling, "Get back here!"
Alright. Bakul is going to drop his longbow because it's still tied up with the spear, so he's just going to let it loose. and instead quickly reach down and grab his hand axes. Let me just take a look here.
He's a comatose.
Yeah, the comatose. I just need to look at his character sheet real quick.
Gotcha. Oh, for the damage and hit rolls.
Yeah.
Time for stabby stabby.
Stabby, stabby, shank, shank.
No, that's not stabby stabby. That's slashy slashy.
Most of them axes, remember correctly, had like a stabby point on them, so it could be stabby stabby.
Yes, but I don't think that you're going to be wanting to stab with those.
All right.
Probably
So
for
he
Angel,
is
might
at
want
an advantage. So, oh yeah, he's attacking with 2 of them. All right.
Oh yeah,
There we
that's
go.
gonna suck to be him.
All right. So the first one.
Not that much.
Well, no, because that guy's really fucked up. So
Yeah.
All right. So
I guess they both hit.
Bakul drops his longbow, and it surprises the bandit, and it causes the way that the bandit is trying to press in his spear against the longbow. When Bakul releases the longbow, it causes the bandit to actually spin around a little bit past Bakul. As Bakul reaches down to his komatal, draws them forward, and brings them both down squarely into the back of the bandit in front of him. And his komatas implant cleanly along the spine, dropping the bandit and killing him. He falls to his face.
Excellent.
And Bakul stands victorious against the bandit. All right.
Gage mine.
Geth,
Just a quick
there is
one, Tig.
yes.
Because he hit on a 13, and it's the same sort of guy, I guess. How come mine didn't hit on the 13? Just out of curiosity, was there a reason for that?
I DM'd it.
Fair enough. No reason.
The guy was hurt enough, and
Yeah.
like literally
He's
the
dying,
way
screw him.
the way that I wanted that to go, basically it was gonna leave the guy with 1 hit point. So I was like, screw it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Screw
So,
that.
all right.
I was just
Anyways,
wondering, that's all.
yeah. I don't have to tell you that, but I don't.
No,
care.
of course, that's why I said, that's why I just asked.
Yeah. All right, Geth, it's your call. You've got one guy up in front of. You see Drux running behind this guy, trying to basically hit him with the pommel of his axe or something.
I'm trying to fly swatter him with the side of my axe.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Morthos wants this guy alive. I don't,
Well, you don't
think
necessarily
I can,
know that.
but I don't think I can knock people out with fire. And since I don't really care if he lives or dies, I'm gonna take my full movement. 15 points.
Fire is fire, right, guys?
Mhm.
Fire is fire.
And that should be a direct line. I don't think I'll have an issue with
As long as you roll well.
Druts.
You roll a 1, and it could still be an issue. You never know.
It doesn't really look like it. Well,
And this could be a bigger issue than he realizes.
well, he also decided to charge them at the very beginning, so it knocks him out.
If there's
This is
anybody
true.
that would
Okay,
be
never mind.
using the
You're
more collateral
forgiven for
damage,
what you fuck up on.
Drugs.
So let's see what happens. But he also has he also has his back to me, so hopefully that's advantage. Let's see what happens. I got A1.
But
Yeah, you are at an advantage. So
Yay!
17. So
Just
roll
about killed Drux.
roll your damage. Yeah, if you hadn't been in an advantage, you would.
yeah, I'd have been sort of.
Well, that's the only reason why I bothered doing it. Just gotta say that. It's like, okay.
You would
I
have
a
had to roll
safety
2
net.
crit ones in order to actually
Yep.
fail that one. So
And finish him. That'll do it.
So you step up beside Vikram, and Vikram's kind of just looking up from the head that rolled to his feet. He looks up to see Drux chasing this bandit north with the flat side of his axe, trying to spank him or something. Vikram's not really sure what Drux has in mind here, but it looks really odd. And Morthos has got a silly grin on his face, and Geth steps up beside them and just brings forth this ball of fire and sets it loose. and it connects with the rear right side of the bandit. And as the bandit's trying to stumble north and Drux is trying to spank him with his axe, the fire hits him and washes over him from his rear right side, dropping him, almost instantly turning him char and dropping him onto his face, dead in the dirt.
I approve.
And the combat has now ended.
God damn it!
Hey, you're welcome for saving the women, or trying to.
And throughout all that, the 3 commoners had made it over to the other house with...
Relax, Morthos. The world is full of assholes. He will wreak horrible vengeance soon enough.
Bakul,
Possibly by the end of the night.
Bakul reaches down and picks up his longbow, inspecting it for any damage caused to it by the spear. Thankfully, it's unharmed, and he puts his comatose away and maintains a hold on the longbow.
I'm gonna walk over now that we've finished everything. I'm gonna knock him upside the head, just enough for him to know I've kind of made his head go forward and call him an idiot for trying to get more idiots involved in this fucking fight that we had,
Okay, roll
which we
your
would have
to
been
hit.
done with a long time ago.
Roll to hit.
Who are you rolling to hit against?
He's trying to hit Bakul.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I don't particularly care.
What do I roll for that?
Just
I'm
roll a
gonna-
d20.
Leave Drutz alone. Whiff.
You walk up kind of to the side and try to do a dope or slap to the back of his head. He just
I'm gonna
kind of
McGee
looks
slap the
at
hell out of
you.
him.
He kind of looks at you as you're bringing your hand up and just places the palm of his dragonborn hand on your slender tiefling frame and pushes you back 5 feet away from him, back to where you were. He's like, back off.
Fucking dumbass dragon breath.
I'm just
Okay,
gonna-
time to loot.
I'm legit because I'm badly hurt, so can we just move this the fuck on and get to the tower? I need a
After we loot.
goddamn rest.
After we loot, yes.
But you loot, I'm going over here, and I walk back to the civilians, basically. And I just wait.
Yeah, and we're gonna obviously partake in the looting.
Bakul
it.
will
Doing
also
them.
partake in the looting as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wasn't there another
9.
cultist? Oh yeah, he
3.
ran down the
The 9th
road.
one's off in the
Yep.
distance.
Yeah, I
By
forgot.
the
I need to
darkness.
close this little
Yep.
And
character here.
Bakul is also going to pick up all of his arrows that he can.
Kath is
He's
gonna-
got one that's way up north. He's actually got 2
I'm not
that
letting
are
that
out
idiot go for an
in
arrow.
distance. He's going to basically classify those as lost. However, Bakul would like to suggest that you guys head north to those 2 houses to the north just to see what the bandits were after.
Before that happens, Geth would like to examine one of the cultists just to see if he recognized anything about them, if he recognizes a cult, or if there's anything particularly magical about them, just in
Okay.
general. Just
You can go ahead and roll your what are you rolling? What's your knowledge that you're rolling?
my knowledge is intelligence. That's at
Well, I mean, do you have any particular areas?
okay. I have Arcana, History, Insight, Investigation, and Survival.
Go ahead and do the
Would you
history
do an
a history
investigation?
check.
Okay, and the roll.
14. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know from a little bit from your studies in the past that there used to be more so than there are currently more stories of groups like this going around and raiding villages. and it was the Cult of the Dragon that has been less seen in recent years. But their attire and the type of enemies that you faced would lead you to believe that this is in fact Cult of the Dragon.
And would I know anything about long-term goal or what they're actually raiding the village for?
No. I mean, you can
Not with
do
the
some
14.
looting and do some perception on the corpses, perhaps. But as far as being able to identify them, you can identify that they seem to be Dragon Cult members.
No.
Obviously, the bandits
Okay.
are just bandits, but the cultists wearing the regalia, you can tell that it seems to be indicating that they are cultists.
I find it odd that we had a bandit and the cultists working together.
Well, roll your insight, Morthos.
Okay. I was just saying I found it odd.
You do find it odd.
I wasn't trying to roll for any extra info. I was just saying it's kind of odd that the bandits were here working alongside the cultists.
I was just seeing if you would
Maybe
have any
membership is
spark of
down.
insight all of a sudden.
As we loot them, I'm going to try to see if I recognize any of those cultists as the ones who attacked me the other day.
Okay.
That'd be.
Go ahead and roll a d20.
Oh, just a d20? All right.
Yeah. You don't recognize any of them as having been part of the
They
group.
seem like outstanding
Surprise.
citizens.
They look like monkeys.
You think you were attacked by giant hamsters?
Right. I'm misremembering.
Okay, so
Who was the cultist?
Bakul wants someone to go fucking up north and see what the hell they were looking at. I'm gonna call him a fucking idiot, loot, and move on.
I'm going to recommend we loot and move on and try to head to the keep because we have several injured people and need to recover health before we
And we also
try
have,
to do anything else.
civvies that are waiting for us to get them to the keep.
Bakul saw Drux limp off and join over in the house with Adovin and the commoners, and he's going to accept and be willing to just loot, go gather the commoners and get them to safety, and then he's probably going to want to return north sometime and investigate those houses and see what those bandits were after. All right, so we've got loot. So let me go ahead and
We're
check
also down
something
2
here.
party
real
members. I
quick.
wonder if we should ask the badass housewife NPC to join us again.
While I'm off my
saying.
own take, I'm just going to try and bandage myself up, basically, because obviously I took quite a lot of nasty wounds.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll medicine.
13.
You're able to make yourself a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
And, but you're not really able to do too much. The gash in your shoulder, you kind of pack it with some gauze and wrap it loosely, but all that you're able to use are some of the linens that you had seen being dragged from the doorway of the house before.
So it's covered in mud, blood, soot.
Yeah, you try to tear the cleanest
other
parts
people's
of the
blood.
linens to
It's just better than it was
To
before, that's the main thing.
yeah.
Roll for infection.
All right, so I need for those of you that are wanting to loot, I need you to roll d6, please.
All of us or just one of us?
All of you.
Excellent.
I see where this is going.